Wait, can you start
you
and kind of show me how you do it?
Yeah, I've never had a guest though.
I'm looking for, yeah, it's that bird in the VIP line with the beat time and the East run. Used to drive the Nissan, now she in a Beamer. I don't want her, cause she from the corner. And I heard that Beamer was a loner. Her old man the owner, and I don't even drink Corona.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Brianda, and we have a special guest.
Hi everyone!
What's your name? What's your name?
My name is Fiona Jolie. Nice to meet you.
So we're going to be talking about friendships today because we think it's really important that we value our friendships and treat them as we should. So we're just going to talk about like healthy friendships, toxic friends as well, a bit of stories here and there, and just give us your thoughts below. So let's get started.
Okay. Oh, that was so good. Let's start with bad.
Yeah, let's start with bad. So then we can end on a positive note.
Right. Yes. Silver lining. Okay. All right. So bad. Judgmental.
Yeah, I would say the first sign in a person that definitely is not your friend is if they're highly judgmental of you.
Right. I think that people who are judgmental, they're projecting on you and they're usually very insecure. So it kind of ties into having insecure friends, because if you're someone who is confident, like us, or at least you're trying to be confident, if you're surrounding yourself with people who are insecure, or you find yourself being friends with people who are insecure, it kind of shows like you have something that they want and an aspect about you that maybe they're jealous of or envious of. So I guess learning to like protect yourself against that.
Yeah.
And that usually shows as being judgmental.
Mm-hmm. And I feel like also being highly like critical of someone really shows that you don't support them. And in a way, you kind of want to dim their light because you feel like it's overpowering. It's too much for you to deal with. And you should never feel like that. Instead, if someone has a lot going on in their life and you are very inspired by that, you should take points, tips, you know, get motivated by that. Like, if you feel like you're not doing enough, then step up. Like, like, level up.
Right.
And I feel like just having great people around you and you're also great, like, it just multiplies and amplifies the energy.
It does!
And that's what you want. Like, you don't want someone that you feel like is not as good as you, or if you feel like you're better than them, like, help them out. Like, you know?
Yes.
Exactly.
Sorry, I'm being a little too hyped up.
No, you're good. You're good.
Everything you're saying, I'm like, yes! Feeling like you have to dim someone else's light, if you feel like subconsciously they're up on this pedestal, so you're trying to like bring them down, even through subtle ways, it's so unhealthy. And
it doesn't make you better though. Like, you're bringing them down to a level where you feel like you're not even good. Like, if you feel like they're better than you, like, why lower the energy instead of just reaching the energy and becoming better? Like, you know? Like, challenge yourself.
Now, I've seen something with people before as well who say there's insecure people who will become friends with people who they want to be like, who are, like, doing great, but it's kind of like they're trying to, like, suck the life out of them, kind of siphon from their greatness. How do you feel about that?
I had to be more quiet. You don't want to feel like you're being silenced because it makes you feel more timid to speak up about things, and you're gonna experience a lot more trouble in your life with people that are constantly overpowering you or trying to, you know, overpower you.
I'm trying to work on that.
Yeah,
it's a good one.
Yeah, like, okay, I don't want to put too much tea out there, but when you are having confrontation with someone, or you feel like there's something that you don't like, you should always speak up sooner than later, because it will continue to become a problem, and it'll hurt you in many ways that you don't realize. Yeah.
That's a really good one.
What do you think about it?
That's a really good one. Yeah, I'm really trying to work on that too. Like, when someone is trying to dim your light and they already have that manipulative, controlling outlook on life, then you can call them out, but like, they're not going to change because they know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. Building discernment through that and knowing when someone like that comes into your life, knowing to take a step back. But clearly, like, from my past, you know, I wasn't able to do that, and I would let people too close who were never meant to get to share my energy. So how we do with people who we're dating, we're not going to want to date every single person. Not every single person deserves or is worthy of our time and energy or our trust. And it's as much as I want to be friends with everyone and all of that stuff, like, you can't, because not everyone is going to want to be a friend to you, and they're going to want to siphon your energy or take advantage of you, or just straight up like not be able to have that capability of seeing your worth or even wanting to appreciate you. So,
and I think it's great that you're selective with your friends, because if you have so many people that you feel like you're acquaintances with but you're just not close enough to, you don't really have any friends, because you can't really decipher who you can really trust and tell information to without feeling like someone's gonna tell. Which is why I love having a small circle, because I know who my friends are, I know who really loves me, and I don't have to feel like, you know, an imposter around a whole bunch of people that really don't love me. They just love what I do and they want to gain from that. So the judgment, like, they'll judge you when you do something wrong, but when you do something right, you get minimal, you know, appreciation. It's like, oh, we already expected you to do that. But like when you mess up, it's like, wow, like we're seeing your flaws, we're seeing that you're not perfect. And it's like, of course I'm not perfect. Whoever said I was.
That's a good take. I haven't heard that before. I would say also the opposite as well. If you have something good that's going for you and you tell your friends, that's a great way to see if like who they really are inside. Because if like I told some people that some of my friends who I've been friends with for a long time, that I want to start a YouTube channel, and they like were not that excited for me. They're just like, oh, okay. Versus people who are like, oh wow, that's really cool. And that's just like one example of kind of seeing people's true colors. But if you have good things going for you, if you're attractive, if you are intelligent, or if you're just caring and nice in general, then people are going to put you on this subconscious pedestal maybe and like try to knock you down,
especially especially like in the field that I'm in too, like in dance. Not everybody's gonna want to congratulate you when you do good stuff, because they want to also be in that spotlight. So you gotta pick and choose your battles, but also when people don't show you that type of love, you have to find that within yourself. You can't look for that outside of who you are, because it's just never gonna feel like you have enough, you know, support. Like you gotta find that in yourself.
That's a great one. Like trying to like find validation in other people. And that's bad, because I'm trying to break away from like trying to find validation in all of the wrong places, because it all does stem from yourself. But also having uplifting friends who are good for you, it is really healing.
It is very healing.
It's really healing, especially when you have a history of being with people who are not healthy for you. Brianda, I really have to pee. I'm also cold. Do you want me to get a blanket for us? I've never really had like a big friend group with multiple people, because in my experience it's just gotten negative. And I've noticed a trait in some friendships. You can have a lot of things going for you and be friends and attract people who are insecure, who bring you down, or it can be the opposite, where the person who's like in the front is more confident and the people who follow them are more insecure, and they use it for bad, basically.
I feel like being the new girl, like people wanted me to join their group, so with that I was able to like observe the type of energies and like what people, you know, had in their group. And definitely like the leader would always kind of fish for compliments, look for the group to kind of like bring them up, and the other people in the group would kind of come to them for like, I guess, consulting, or more so just like, it's not a balanced dynamic. And I feel like it's really hard to have large friend groups, because how do you like satisfy everyone? How do you pay attention to everyone simultaneously? Like, I'll say one thing. I did see this one friend group, and obviously the leader of the pack was like the person that everybody would, you know, compliment, praise, because they just felt like they were gaining something by her just being there. And I noticed that another person in the group, you know, they would trauma dump, or they would always like talk about their own problems, trying to see if other people would respond. And because like
that's so many people do that.
I feel like that's one thing with like having big friend groups. Like, you don't want to try to put all your business out there and see if people are gonna just like gravitate to you. I feel like it should just come natural. And if you feel like you're like having to force people to like connect with you, it's not a friend group. It's not a connection. It's
like a consulting session.
Yeah, or like a therapy session, but like the therapist is not there for you.
Yes, no, literally. That's such a good way to put it.
Yeah.
One of the first literally in the first week of college, we all were in this one girl's dorm room, and someone was like, all right, y'all, let's go and share on our trauma. And everyone was just getting into it, and it was just so negative. That was the first experience on campus I experienced having a ginormous friend group. They were not real friends. I quickly left the group chat and everything because it was just so fake, and I saw through it. But so many people stayed because there were always like those girls like at the top or who were like, I don't know.
Or they fish for compliments. Like they're looking for people to see the good in them instead of them working to see the good in themselves. And this is one thing that I see as well. If you're the type of person and you feel like you're always having to make somebody feel good because they're always talking bad about themselves, you should not be around people like that, because if they can't positively talk about themselves, they're not thinking anything positive about you.
That's oh my god, I made a video actually. I actually did film and I talked about that. Yeah, okay, that's a great one. I'm glad that you mentioned that. Friends who can never say anything good about themselves. It's kind of also tying into like pick me energy. People who are always just saying like, oh, like I hate this about myself, or oh, like I'm not pretty, or it could be more deeper things, obviously. But if you always find yourself in that dynamic of trying to like lift them up, and they're
not doing that for you.
They're not doing it for you. Also, it can come off manipulative too if they're doing it, because it's like, oh, I'm so ugly, and then like looking at you to like see if you validate them.
Like
it's like that's not my job. And I guess I've grown more discernment, so I have a more neutral take to people like that, and I'm kind of like,
I try to stay away from it because I feel like that negative energy can drain you in your relationship, and it kind of interrupts your ability to manifest, because if you're constantly hearing those negative thoughts about other people, like you're gonna start thinking about that about yourself. You're gonna start hyper analyzing yourself because your friends are doing that to themselves, and you're like, should I start doing that to me? Like, is there something wrong with me? Like, so I just try to stay away from people like that.
It's kind of like, once again, if you're meeting someone who you're interested in romantically, and they're constantly just sulking and telling you all these negative things about themselves that they need to work on, it's so draining. And I don't want to be any man's therapist, so you know, we can't do that for our friends even. I mean, of course, and that's completely different from having like specific venting sessions or being vulnerable.
Okay. Yes,
that's needed. But if there's a difference in, like, I feel it when people are insecure, and it's like you said, and also words are spells, you know, like, and everyone has a different energy and different vibration. So I notice a difference being around people who they uplift the energy and they make me feel like I see the good, versus friends who are always worrying, and all of a sudden I'm just like, oh, like I feel really depressed, I feel really drained and sad.
After hanging out with them, like, you should not feel that way after spending time with someone. They should, you know, be sharing the light, giving you that positive outlook on things.
And people will try to siphon that from you. If you're doing great and you're a light in someone's life and someone is insecure, like always talking about like how light attracts darkness. This is something else. Like, have you heard, someone had this analogy online of like men who will go up to women on the beach and be like, I hate these videos, but like rating yourself out of 1 out of 10. If she dares to say, oh, I think I'm a 10 or a 9 even, people are so quick, it usually toxic men, but like to drag her down. So like if you have things going for you and you're acknowledging it, people are so quick to like humble you. So this is kind of off topic, but
no, I think it's like perfect with what we're talking about, because you want to be around people that see the good in you, and when they're able to talk positively about things more than dwelling on the things that are going on in life, it uplifts both of you through your like life journey.
It does. It really does. And it's refreshing too. I think that was good for the topic. Okay, so now let's talk about healthy friendships. Let's like end this on a positive note, you know? Okay, I have one.
Okay.
Along with loyalty, friends who are loyal. And deciphering kind of like those neutral friends who, say you have 2 friends, Lucy and Nancy. and then you have your friend in the middle who's neutral.
Mm-hmm.
So Lucy and Nancy are not getting along with each other. Lucy was really mean to Nancy, but the friend in the middle is still going to continue to be friends with both of them. It boils my blood when I'm friends with someone and they continue being friends with someone who hurt me in my life, and we are close.
Yeah.
And it's not loyal. I mean, it's honestly the equivalent of like if you're friends with someone and then say your ex was abusive and they're like being buddy and like all kind with your ex. Like
I definitely agree. I feel like it's an unpopular opinion maybe for a lot of people, but for me per se, I don't think neutrality is always good. Like, I feel like you should have a decision or an opinion about it. Like,
friendship is backing someone up.
It's supporting one another.
It is. And even if, like, have you seen those memes? Like, even if my friend is in the wrong in front of, like, their enemy, like, I'm still gonna back them up because they're my friend. And don't talk to my friend like that. Like, she's not wrong or whatever. But then behind the scenes being like, hey, like.
I feel like if you don't speak up, that says more about you because you're accepting it and you're allowing it and you're not showing where your loyalty lies.
Ooh, ours. Can you elaborate more on that?
I just feel like you I don't know, my brain is
it's
having
okay.
a difficult time right now.
No, I feel it too. It's okay.
Yeah.
Gotta clear the energy.
No, for real. This reminds me of like a homie hopper low key. Like when they're constantly bouncing around to receive like attention, I feel like from different people, and having that type of energy around you, like it's not good because you don't know if you can trust them. Like they're literally just trying to appease like everybody around them.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Like kind of like people pleasers. Like you cannot please everybody.
Yeah, and like you cannot be yourself when you're trying to care about others over yourself. Like
you can't.
How?
I'm trying to work on that too.
Me too, because it bothers me when I hear people that don't like me, but then at the same time it's like I'm not like you, so low-key I'm glad you don't like me because then people would never associate me to you. Even though we're in the same space, that doesn't mean I am like you. Like, okay, this reminds me of my testimony. So there was this guy that was trying to talk to me, and he had heard that I was on the team, you know, on a particular on the dance team.
Yeah.
So he thought that, you know, everybody on the team was just like, you know.
Sorry, what exactly would that be? Like someone.
I don't know. Like he just
like,
thought that I was like shallow. I wouldn't have a lot of information. Like I would kind of just be like the pretty girl that, you know, just gets away with stuff because I'm pretty. But when I like elaborated on my emotions, I seem to be very intelligent. Like
when he learned that you're actually a human being.
Yeah, like my major's law. Like I have other aspirations. Like me being a dancer, I'm actually professional. Like I'm not trying to just, you know, be a dancer so everybody knows that I'm on the team. Like no, I actually want to take this pro. But unfortunately, like when it comes to who you're on the team with and how they represent themselves, sometimes it could misconstrue like the entire team and their reputation and what people think the entire team is like. So he just basically thought that I was really shallow, I wouldn't have a lot to say, and when he figured out that I'm not like that, he was really surprised. Wow. However, he decided to attack me in another way by basically saying because I'm not his religion, even though I still said that I'm spiritual, like of course I connect to a higher being. I don't feel like I'm just like my own person and I, you know, made myself. Like no, I don't feel that way, but nothing's wrong if you feel that way, but I wasn't, you know, saying that. But he still was kind of like, oh, I don't feel like you're religious enough. And it kind of hurt me a little bit because I feel like spirituality is really important with who I'm becoming as a person. So to try to judge me based on me not having the same ideas as you, like, you know,
I hate
it's
that.
It's hypocritical. Yeah.
And like that should just make him excuse you. Go back. That should just make someone like you more. Like I think that's so backwards that he felt that way. And that just shows more about him and also how people will project, like how we'll project into each other.
Yeah.
And kind of expect like what we think is right to be right for other people when they try to like correct your way of thinking into being just like theirs. When you have a different belief from them and they instantly feel targeted, like they have to be right. And I also am trying to work on that too because I have that trait, but it's like at least I'm aware of it. A lot of people are not, and
I think awareness is really important too with having like healthy friendships, like being aware of what other people are going through and not always just focusing on yourself, because I feel like you end up becoming detached from reality and like how other people are experiencing things, and it can really like hurt your relationship when someone feels as if you're not there for them, or when they can't come to you as much as you come to them about stuff. So I think that's also really important too with having a healthy friendship.
Ooh, yes. And you know, I try to be vulnerable with people, but sometimes people just don't reciprocate it.
Exactly. And I think that might be because they just haven't experienced it themselves, or a lot of people are scared to be vulnerable and express their emotions, so when other people do it, they just don't know how to respond.
That's such a good point. And I'm not trying to blame it on other people, because like I think it's just society too, like it's so hyper individualistic. I watched a podcast breaking this down. There are so many like self-help books and ways like how to heal yourself. There needs to be more focus like in bookstores and libraries on how to be there for others, and how to be vulnerable, and especially because of small talk, which it's needed, but I really dislike it because, you know, people aren't genuine and always saying like I'm fine or I'm good, but not really getting into the nitty-gritty. And I like getting into the nitty-gritty, and I like being there for people, and because I want other people to be there for me. It makes me feel good when I can be there for other people too.
Like, we've known each other for maybe like 2 months. And I just feel like how open we are to like talk about our emotions and stuff like that really shows you that when you have the same frequency, the same vibe, the same positive energy, it'll just come naturally. It doesn't feel forced, and you can learn from that instead of trying to tear people down or try to correct people. Like, that's not what life is about. Like,
it's not. It's about learning from each other and learning to love each other's differences and beauty. And I talked about this too. The world would be so terrible if everybody was just like me, if there were only Fionas running around. Like, I would hate that. Life is just to experience, and
it is.
Spiritual beings having a human experience,
Exactly.
and just learning more about ourselves through others and vice versa. And
it's really great to attract like the same vibe and frequency, because things come more naturally when you're with people that also have the same intentions. The same intentions.
Right.
Wanting to grow the relationship and learn from you as much as you want to learn from them.
Right. And I think sometimes people have like this preconceived notion of like what they think is cool about others. I'm trying to let go of people like that in my life who, if you don't like meet their standards, and you can feel it when you're talking to them, if you can feel kind of like they're judging you, or like values. If your values are different from someone, then they're not going to find you valuable. Someone broke that down. I value like, you know, patience, kindness, deepness, and, you know, things that make me grow, and conversations that uplift me and make me think more and grow for the better, and not just low vibrational things like gossip, and you can just feel it. So
take it as a sign to leave. Don't force the relationship, because I feel like when you're constantly around people that like you feel like you have to keep pushing for information, you have to keep pushing for them to open up to you, like it makes you feel like something's wrong with you, and nothing's wrong with you. Like it's totally okay to be open, and if you feel like they're just not on the same like page, tell them how you feel, and if they're not reciprocating or wanting to, you know, like better the relationship, then let go. Like
right. It's all about the vibes and energy. Like, just it comes down to the 3D and like what people are actually doing and saying, but also friendship too is just how you feel and intuition. What is your gut telling you? This is a big one. What version of you do they bring out? That is such a great one, because if you're around people who make you feel insecure, if you're around people who make you feel like you have to prove yourself to them,
or if you feel like you're super quiet around people, but like when you're with that one person where like you're super talkative, you're super loud, you're super goofy, and they're always saying that you're funny, like be around those people. Do not be around people that make you feel like, oh my god, like I've never felt this lonely like in my life. Like you need to let go and find other people that bring out the best in you.
Kind of from a place of loneliness, like just being friends with them just because they're like on your friend roster.
Yeah,
but it's
or
like,
because you want someone with you,
Right.
but the value of them being there is not really there if they're not really contributing to you.
yes. Yes, exactly. So wise. Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for watching our podcast. Don't forget to subscribe, give this video a big thumbs up, and don't forget to comment down below with some requests or just your thoughts on this video. And if you have any ideas of other topics that we should discuss, let us know. See you guys next week. Bye.
That was so perfect.
Conversation is so boring. Heard about when I hate her, I don't agree. I did it first. I give a fuck, I just want fuck.